You got her dunking into the holy water. This is St. Patrick's Cathedral. Look at how magnificent it is. Now, when you come in, there are holy waters you can dunk your hand in and do the sign of the cross. Over here are candles. Now, these candles are 2 for $5, $3 a piece, or 2 for $5, and you can light a candle for people around the world. You light a candle for yourself if you like. Just make the offering here, and let's go about giving you a tour of the church. It's one of the most beautiful churches in the world, and it certainly is the greatest church in New York City, right here on 5th Avenue and 50th Street. Now here, you are going to see that there are 22 separate altars in here. Each altar represents a different saint. Some people like to pray to St. Jude, some to St. Michael, some to St. Vincent. This is St. Anthony. He'll tell you where he's from, who his parents were, what he did with Christ. And then they'll have a likeness of him and these beautiful carvings. You can also pray here and light a candle to him or whoever you want. All of these have natural lighting at the top, which looks really beautiful. It is getting dark outside, so it won't help much right now. Again, there's 22 of these, and this is St. John, the evangelist. Lots of homeless in here. They're allowed to come in, lay down, relax, take it easy. That is St. Elizabeth. To become a saint, you have to have performed 3 miracles. This is St. Lima, St. Rose of Lima. Now around this corner is these beautiful carvings into the wall. See people pray all in their own ways. This right here is the persecution of Christ. This is where he says here, Jesus, I can't read anything. He speaks to the daughters of Jerusalem. In most of these, you will see young children turning away in sadness. But they're quite detailed and quite beautiful. She's going to pray to each one. Here Jesus falls for the 3rd time. This is probably one of the most graphic here. It's Christ getting nailed to the cross. You can see the detail of the man as he brings the hammer down. And as Christ lays there and they wrestle his other arm. The man with the toolbox and the women crying in the background. These are the life-size saints. They have Alphonse Liguori, Saint Bonaventure. There is a Saint Bernard. There's a real saint called Saint Bernard, not a dog. Here you have Saint Bernard and Saint Anselm. These are the giant, what I call the King Kong doors. Look at how big these doors are. There are thousands of pieces of works of art here for the stained glass. And unfortunately, because of the darkness outside, you won't be able to see these beautiful pieces of stained glass the way they're supposed to be shown. This is one of the smaller chapels inside the chapel. If you want to pray here with your family, it fits about 20 people. Maybe you had a loved one die and you want to honor them here. Then you have your own personal chapel here, and it's always busy. We've had 3 popes serve Mass here. These are the steps to where the Pope would preach. Inside this church, there are hundreds of statues like this. All different, all gorgeous, all very detailed. Everywhere you look, there's another statue. Everywhere you look, there's another ornate piece of carvings. This is where the priest gives his sermon here, and I'll show you more of that in a minute. Lots of beautiful artwork in here. It's like a museum. This is one for the immigrants. It's a beautiful piece. As you can see, she's opening the door for them to come out. And it's just a stunning piece. In this church, there are several priests buried underneath it in the catacombs below it. This one here was actually a friend of mine when I was a young child. That is Terence Cardinal Cook. I have an amazing picture of him holding me in his arms, and why don't I put that right here? That is me and Terence Cook. That was in Turkey when I was a baby, and he ended up moving to the United States. He settled in New York and dedicated his life to the poor and the elderly. More of these wonderful places to come pray. That's Mother Teresa there. Teresa from Calcutta. Over here you can see they are doing today something they don't do all the time, which is the confessional. These are 200-year-old wooden confessionals. You go in and you, bless me, Father, I have sinned. It's been 20 years since my last confession. And what have you. This is one of the most famous statues in this whole church. Christ has died as he lays in the arms of Mary. Now, how do you know he's dead? Well, if you look, you can see his nail holes in his feet. You can see the spear mark in his ribs. As Jesus lays dead, he's comforted by Mary in her loving arms, only to be resurrected 3 days later, so that our sins may be forgiven. If you believe in John 3:16, then you know that God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that he who believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. I'm a believer. Here is another place where you can come and pray. They did something really remarkable here. They did a full restoration. You can see this church is nice and clean. It's 165 years of dirt and soot removed, but they left the stained glass windows dark and crusty. 160 years of dark crustiness on them because they wanted to show you the contrast. Very cool. Now, as I told you, I have a friend that's buried in here. He is buried right below here in the crypt. Through those doors, I believe we can see his name on the door. I can't read him. John Cardinal O'Connor. That was my guy, but that was not my friend. That right there is Terence Cook. He actually was interned there in 1983. And I met him in like 67. He's buried right down there. This one you cannot film. They don't want you filming this one for whatever reason. It's a private mass. Everything else in here is a tourist attraction. You can film. So any of these are fine. Remember I said they left the stained glass dirty. This one's still dirty, but look. There's halfway clean and there's all the way clean. So you can see the difference. halfway clean, not cleaned at all. Look at these beautiful masterpieces, real stained glass. Now, speaking of a masterpiece, this is one of my favorite pieces in here. This is maluf. This is all done with tiles, not painted tiles, real tiles of this color. It took, I don't know, 10 years to make. You can see black tiles, gray tiles, brown tiles, gold tiles. It's a beautiful piece. This is one of his treasures. This is solid gold. And it's behind bulletproof glass or thick glass so that nobody steals it. But this is an absolute beautiful mosaic. It's fantastic. And again, his name was Charbel. Saint Charbel Macluf. I believe he died and lived 54 days after. I'm not sure. I don't know his true story, so don't ever listen to me when I say I believe, because usually I'm wrong. Now this is behind the scenes. If the priest is giving communion, this is where he gives the bread. This is where he does the wine. All this back here to his 2,000 parishioners down there. If you look here, you'll see these beautiful wooden carvings. That's my favorite in the whole church, is all the carved wood. Everywhere you look, carved wood. They have metal up here, but the carved wood is my favorite. They have angels. These are hundreds of years old. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at that. This is where the priest would give his sermon. You do hear them chanting as we speak. There are two mind-blowing organs in here. The first one is the smaller of the two, except this one. This one will collapse your chest. It is boom. It is no joke. But it is a baby compared to the one I'm getting ready to show you. The one I'm getting to show you now is one of the greatest organs in the world. And it is right up there. Look at this thing. By the way, that is Fifth Avenue. That is a beautiful stained glass window overlooking Fifth Avenue. When the light shines in, it's to die for. Over here is St. Patrick's actual artifact. Is the crystal cross. If you don't know who St. Patrick is, that's him. Right there. That's St. Patrick. This is the altar. This is where a priest gives his sermon. And this is where people come from all over the world to pray. Over here we have more of the life-size saints on the walls. And we also have the ending of Christ. There's St. Basil the Great. And there is John Chrysostom. And here are more of Christ on his way. They made him carry his own cross. See, they do a lot of children in these. A lot of children, and the women are always looking away except this one. Kneels at his feet as the Roman guard whips him and tries to humiliate him. And here we have Christ falling again as he carries his own cross to his own execution. In here they have all these giant pillars that go up, it seems like forever, to this beautiful roof. The architecture is perfect. You can hear them chanting right now. It just sounds like it would be impossible for a studio to recreate. It's so beautiful. This is a recreation of the what's it called? Turin. The Shroud of Turin. This was a blanket that they had wrapped Christ in when he died, and his face is prevalent on the shroud. This is obviously a mosaic likeness of it, but it is stunning. Stunning. There are more wooden confessionals over here. This is one of the chapels that made for a whole bunch of different ethnicities. See, black folks. It's not just white folks that are Christians. You have Asians, Ethiopians, Germans, Russians. Christianity is a very large religion with billions of followers. Some more of their very old confessionals. Another place to worship, I guess. It is John the Baptist, who baptized Christ. And it's beautiful, stunning. And then we've got a couple more, then we're out of here. And of course, this one is St. Bernard, not the dog. That's St. Bernard. And then the last one is St. Jude. I'm trying to get you to see this. I have carried this here in my pocket for 30 years. I was assaulted and almost unalived twice with these keys in my pocket. The last time I was within inches of death, and I survived. And I've had this in my pocket for over 30 years, and I got it right here at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and it never ever leaves my side. And this is my guy, St. Jude, here, and I pray to him often. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you had a good time, and I hope that you'll oh, got it. Thought I lost my hat. I hope that you'll come and check out the church. Thank you, brother. I hope you'll come check out the church. Now you hear the bells ringing, which means it has to be on the hour. Sorry, it is. It's 5 o'clock. There's bell number 2. Bell number 3. Bell number 4. Bell number 5. It is 5 o'clock in New York City, which means it is rush hour traffic, which means traffic will not rush. Look at this little tiny cop car. This guy has the smallest cop car in the world. You can't even see it because there's a person standing in front of it. Across the street is Rockefeller Center. Right across the street is Atlas holding up the world. One of the iconic statues in New York City. I really hope that you had a good time. I ask you, as always, please be kind, loving, and good to every man, woman, child, and animal that you meet. And be good to yourself because you deserve it. And if no one told you today you're special, let me be the first. You are special. God bless you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and bless every stranger you've never met. Peace.